Hi everyone. I know that I've been, holding up for the lunch, so I will try to make it interesting, quick. From Ayata, we thought of coming to this event and focus on a concept called commerce connected, right? So, we have been hearing the different stages of commerce. We heard B2C, D2C. We have been hearing C2C. We have been hearing the term phygital, which I also have there. But we feel from our experiences of more than around 12 for 14 years around the world, that in India particularly, there is a time where we need to talk about this connected phenomena, right? And that's where we are. And if you see the business model, that also needs a lot of connectivity, because the business are moving in truly in the omni retail space. If you see the online players, the D2C brands, they have started realizing they're investing in the brick and mortar shop, and the vice versa is also happening, right? There is a lot of Uberization of fashion even, which is happening, which I was learning since morning, which was an eye-opener for me also, right? And that's where we believe that commerce connected is the right phenomena to empower that business model, right? Would like to take you through a little bit from a outside-in view, which is the customer view, and what you need to do from inside out, which is from a brand perspective, right? So let's go that journey. Sorry. Yeah, so if you see, this slide is known to you. I'll not bore you too much with this slide. But if you see, generally, what has changed in the different stages of a customer buying journey is the amount of touch points, right? Because IoT has come up, you have the kiosk, the self-service kiosk coming up in brick and mortar. AR, VR playing a huge role on the online format of your business, right? And depends on, of course, the degree depends or varies from which segment and sector you are playing in, right? But that's a typical, journey that a customer follows, right? So the customer starts with awareness, which might be word of mouth, which might be, radio, TV ad. It starts on the search. The search can be contextual, can be organic, inorganic. Even, NLP is gaining a lot of momentum in India today, which I'm very happy to see. Then, of course, the customer moves to the consideration of your brand and product. Then it goes to the purchase mode. And then, of course, purchase, the story doesn't end. It has to go through advocacy, because that's how you want to get your repeated customers, right? Any brand which I've been hearing from, since morning, there are 3 imperatives for a brand, if you see. If you need to just summarize in 3 points. A, you need to have more visitors to your brand, offline or online, doesn't matter. Second, you need to buy them repeatedly. That means you talk about conversion a lot. And third is you want to buy them with a more value. So if you can address any of these 3 or all of them, if you are lucky and you're doing the right thing, your brand will flourish. Everything moves around these 3 imperatives, and this is my experience from around the world, right? And that's where this customer journey and the touch points are very important to your brand. Okay, now if you see what has changed also, because your customers are very connected, they're empowered with technology, they are knowledgeable, information is accessible to them. So their journey of through your brand, access your brand, has become very heterogeneous. It's no more simple path followed. If you remember those different stages of the customer journey, it has become extremely heterogeneous. And I have been seeing this change for the last 9 years to 10 years in the industry, Indian industry. But what has changed, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, and thanks to technologies like ChatGPT and etc., these paths have extremely become connected. The customers expects your brand to be all these paths, all these touch points to be connected, right? And that's why you'll be hearing me using the term connected a lot, because that's the reality, okay? Now, also what has changed, the customer, because of the heterogeneous connected journey, the customer is able to do, if it's not with you, but your competitive brand, the customers are also not decisive that where I will actually end up buying. I have heard, from my interest, I talk to many, women customers or consumers, and they say they do a very clever thing. They go to, let's say, Forever New. They go to the stores, they see all the dresses, then they go online and see what's the best price you get, right? So the customers are intelligent, which is good news for us, right? Because the more customers become intelligent and they're demanding, then you innovate as a business, right? So two things have changed. These touch points, the customers expect to be connected, and B is the customer's journey has become so heterogeneous, the customer doesn't have to decide, even before starting the journey, that where I will buy, which channel I will buy. The customer decides on the fly, and that's why you will hear a term called in-moment by many of the technology players, like SAPs or SFDCs of the world. They will use a technology term called in-moment, and that's why in-moment is gaining so much of momentum. Now, some of the interesting data, if you see, around 48% customers are doing social media purchases. My recent research in India I'm talking about. 62% is actually engaging when there is a user-generated content, particularly on the product description. And women are, again, the torchbearer in this segment. They really love it. To participate as an end consumer, to create the community, as well as also as a new next customer. 77 million are actually utilizing social commerce already in India. And 69% are expecting the live commerce to have in India, right? So there are technology players who are already providing live commerce, right? And 77% prefers those retailers who are present omni, brick and mortar as well as online, right? That gives you a kind of a glimpse picture. I wish I could give lot of data which we have, but just interest of time, I thought of keeping this very precise. Now, at the end of the day, it has to be agnostic, doesn't matter online or offline, or the channel platform, or the technology, merchant device. It has to glue, it has to be transparent to the user, and that's what I'm trying to explain. Now, as a brand, what you need to do is, the question you need to ask yourself, can I match that expectation? For me, customer experience is very simple. What you promise to your customers and what actually, you are delivering. So that's it. Now, in order to do this, what you need to do is, you need to get all your channels, everything connected, right? But what's the reality? The reality is that you have this disconnected commerce experience. You have the social commerce, you have the online commerce, and etc., right? You can read the slide. And you have the multi-channel also. Let's talk about the marketplaces. But they're all disconnected, right? Most of them, you will find that they're talking a lot and they are doing great. Nothing wrong in that. But if you remember, those expectations from the end consumers, these experiences are disconnected. And that's why we're talking about 45% average bounce rate in D2C website, right? We are talking about 63% average cart abandonment rate in India. 32% average e-commerce return rate in India, which has become a huge problem. 65% inventory accuracy only. The best standard says 99%. So what we did is, we did a study and we found these 6 elements very important. Anything you can categorize in them. The technology, data, people, experience, process, and channels, right? I will not take you through and bore you through every concept, every block. We are there at the floor, we can talk in detail. But these are the 5 or 6 categories where all of your investments, all of your aspirations can be put into as a brand. And what you need to, the problem is they're all disconnected today, and what you need to move to is a connected experience, commerce connected experience, right? And that's where you can unlock, right? Now, I have used the term commerce connected. Let me just give you one slide about what is it all about. So this is a framework which will give you an unified, a consistent and a contextual view of your brand. And please remember, it's outside-in view for your customers more than your inside view. That's what it does. It expands with all the retail operations, be it inventory, be it marketing, be it commerce. Commerce is, I consider it's a small part of the ecosystem, right? So it takes care of all the elements which are important for your retail business. And what happens when you can apply it correctly is this. If you remember, from the disconnected commerce experiences, You can move to a connected, offline to online, online to offline, ship from store, ship to store, BOPIS, blah, blah, blah. The possibility is immense. The possibility is all there, right? So you can move to this state. And for that, we, of course, work with some of the partners, which are technology partners over here, very important. You can find some of the Indian contextual names also. And these are a couple of our brands which you have already helping, right? With that, I would leave it to your thought. We are here around. Please feel free to connect to us, and we would be happy to take and discuss your brand. Thank you so much. Have a good day.